Welcome to the Redirect Podcast. My name is Abigail Freshley.
And I'm Emily Rojas. The Redirect Podcast is the show where we shift the conversation back to books. We discuss themes from some of our favorite books and how those themes show up in our real lived experiences.
On today's episode, we are book clubbing the salacious tell-all memoir, Sister Wife by Christine Brown.
But first, before we get to that, we would love for you to support the show in a few simple ways if you are loving it. First, you can go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, and let us know that you love the show.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Redirect Podcast. And if you really, really love the show, you can share our show with a friend, because sharing our show with a friend is by far the best way to grow our community of book-loving nerds. And love of books should be multiplied, not divided.
Not divided. When did you think of that? Just now, or were you
literally just now?
That's amazing. Thank you.
It spoke
if you
to
know,
me.
you know.
If you know, you know. Honestly, this episode has maybe been 15 years coming.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I were seated in your grandparents' beach condo.
Yes.
For season 1 of the show.
Yeah, I remember the show being like promoted and like when it premiered, watching it. Yeah, definitely. Like everything she was saying, I'm like, oh, I saw that. I saw that on TV.
I definitely. There was a point where I stopped watching.
Yes.
Where I was like, oh, I'm getting new information. But the early seasons, yes.
Yeah, I think I checked out and would like maybe see stuff on TikTok. And then I've been watching again since like this all has happened with Christine leaving the family. I've checked in a little bit more, but those early seasons, yeah, like I remember being locked in.
Yeah. And now I think they're on their very last season, which I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are still filming about.
I know.
But we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. So yeah,
as always with our
long-time
book club
fans.
Episodes, this is going to be rife with spoilers. We're going to talk about everything in the book in detail. This is a great thing to listen to if you aren't interested in the book, but you don't really want to read it.
Yeah, I feel like that's common. And hey,
yeah,
that's what we're here for. Yeah.
So there will be plenty of spoilers. Second disclaimer. Neither one of us read the book with our eyes. We both listened to the audiobook, which is narrated by the author.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a text or reference for direct quotes. So, you know.
Yeah. Some of this are probably paraphrasing, but I tried my best when I put quotes that I wanted to quote to like get it as close to what she actually said. But yeah, no promises that it's word for word exact. So yeah, I can't wait. Let's talk about it. What should we talk? Okay. What were your overall impressions? How about that? Or just off the bat, what did you expect maybe going in, and then how did you feel when you read it?
I tried to go in. I don't think I had that many expectations going in. Mm-hmm. I was pleased overall. I felt like I did get to see things from her point of view, and like I got new information. Mm-hmm. What I will say is the TLC of it all was definitely present. Mm-hmm. So you and I also book clubbed Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar, another TLC reality show family memoir.
Yes.
And at that point, she no longer had any Jill Duggar Dillard did not have any contractual obligation to TLC anymore. Mm-hmm, so she was really upfront about the dynamic and like this, you know, the manipulation and the abuse of a TV network filming your family, the invasiveness, all that stuff. The last season of Sister Wives is currently still airing. And so there is definitely still a connection between Christine and the network. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like a lot of that was sanitized. Mm-hmm. And TLC was really only referenced in like a super positive light. And she really glazed over her personal decisions to continue exposing her family and her children to this toxic reality TV show environment.
Yeah.
And so I think that was like a blind spot for me. But otherwise, I thought it was really good.
Totally. I feel similarly. I feel like I actually expected less from this because, and I think she talks a lot about this. I mean, you know, this is related to the TLC thing. I think she talks about this in a little bit of ways of like, when you watch Sister Wives, it was pretty clear almost from the beginning that things were not great. Like there were so many moments, especially, and I would say maybe the first season, like, you know, they were just trying to talk about themselves and that was genuine, but like everything that happened with Mary, like the catfish thing, like their relationship or lack thereof, like it was always clear, like things that Robin was like the favorite and whatever, like, not to dive into like the content of the book, but but that was like very glazed over for a long time. I feel like it's only been recent seasons where it's been like, okay, we're just going to be honest about what's been going on. And so I was kind of expecting a similar thing of like, you know, I'm not going to be forthcoming. Like, I'm going to make you think I'm going to reveal something, and then I'm really not. But I do feel like there's a lot of things I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she told us that. So I'm excited to talk about that. So yeah, but I agree with what you said. I feel like there's a lot. I was expecting, not to spoil the end, but I was expecting by the end for her to come and be like, especially vis-a-vis Garrison, to think like maybe this wasn't the best way to raise my children. And
but she never got there.
That never, which makes sense, I guess, like you said, or she's still contractually can't say that.
So but it just makes me feel a little bit a hair off of authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also one thing that is explicitly named is the relationship to money, the opacity in the family around money over the years, and her need for her own financial independence and freedom.
Sure.
And continuing the show, like if you read between the lines, continuing the show is a part of making that real for her.
Sure. So it's like, I get that too.
Especially given that she was never in a legal marriage.
Yeah.
So
tough. Okay, we gotta dive in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we just start in chronological order? Like,
yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. So let's talk pre-Cody. What I have here is that's like the first 3 chapters. So how the book was divided up was there was different sections. It was like daughter, sister, wife, and then woman, I think, was the last one. I started losing track. So the daughter section, I have the first 3 chapters as being pre-Cody. So I'd love to start there with like her upbringing, her childhood, her family history, which was crazy. And this is when I texted you and said, wow, I really don't know anything about Mormon history, because she talked a lot about the history of Mormons and I had no idea.
Okay. Yes. I'm actually thinking right now, what is the name of that graphic novel I read?
Oh, Persepolis?
No.
Oh, Joseph Smith and the Mormons or something?
Yeah, Joseph Smith and the Mormons.
Yeah.
I actually did, and I'm begging you to read this graphic novel.
Okay. Let me put it on hold.
So much freaking tea. It's unbelievable, and I would send you my copy, but I already gave it to someone else. It's crazy tea, and it's like, you're like, oh, I'm going to read this weird nonfiction book.
Okay, I'm putting it
Mormon history is crazy.
Yeah. No, it was...
And the guy who wrote this book is he is like the great grandson of Brigham Young or something like that.
Yeah, apparently so is she, kind of.
So essentially what she lays out some Mormon history.
Yeah.
She talks about being from Utah, and she briefly describes history of like a break in the Mormon church after the death of Joseph Smith, and how the mainstream,
who had
Mormon
40
church,
wives, by the way, learned that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so did Brigham Young.
Yes. He had 56.
Or more. Yeah.
Yes. I have this in my notes with a lot of question marks. Okay. Go. Continue.
So after, like, at some point, there was a break in the church and the main Mormon Church of Latter-day Saints, and this fundamentalist Mormon church broke off, and that is the branch of Mormonism that her family is from. They're specifically involved in a sect of Mormonism called Apostolic United Brethren. This is different than like the Warren Jeffs, like compound Mormon polygamists. I think a lot of her description about the history of this church, super whitewashed,
for sure,
super sanitized. She talked about how great of an advocate her grandfather was. But basically what you need to know is she comes from polygamous Mormon royalty.
Yes. Which explains
like
a lot.
Her father, her grandfather, her great uncles, they're all like really, really big.
Yes.
In this fundamentalist Mormon sect.
Yes. So from my notes, her grandfather married 16 women, and according to her, he was considered a great healer, very well loved in the community. And then this was like very contentious though, because this was when the split was, raw. It was raw. And so he was being threatened, and like the authorities and like random people were threatening him. So he ran off and didn't see the kids for years, which I was like, okay, like how great a guy was he, And
she described it as like this really devastating thing, like the family was broken up, whatever.
And then her grandfather was killed because there was some people in the community who thought that they thought this was such a sin to be married to multiple women. and that some sins can only be absolved by death. And that was their reasoning. And so some guy whose name I didn't write down, talked a woman into being the one to actually shoot and kill him, and he was murdered. And the guy didn't end up going to prison, and the woman did, if I remember correctly. And
something
so
like that.
yeah.
And I also had a note here. I want a book about the intersection of Mormonism and naturopathy. Because she described her grandfather as being this great healer, air quotes, and chiropractor.
Yes.
And many times throughout the book, she describes alternative medicine and this, like, her faith. And it reminded me, what did it remind you of? Does this remind you, ring any bells? Educated by Tara Westover.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because they're fundamentalist Mormon too, kind of.
Yeah.
And they don't believe in antibiotics and all this stuff. Yes. So I was like, this is coming up a lot. And then it's reminding me of her, like, flash forward to today. She's been in multiple pyramid schemes. Yeah. Which including kind of like a pseudoscience one right now called Plexus, which is kind of like a grifty supplement brand. But anyways, that was one of my detours of this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's her upbringing. And then her mother was part of a polygamous marriage and then ended up leaving her father, which basically served to make Christine significantly more religious and kind of break away from her mom for a really long period of time, where she felt like her mom was betraying her, like she was being selfish. She wasn't, like, she had raised her in this religion, and then her mom left the church, and so it was very fascinating, that part.
And she describes in her childhood really kind of being in a closed community and always being afraid of being found out as a polygamist.
Yes.
And because of that, she didn't really have a lot of relationships with people outside of her church and her family, which plays a really big role in her adulthood and really sets the stage for, like, why she spent 30 years in a disappointing marriage.
Yes. Yeah, and I think...
But she wasn't exposed to much. And when she was exposed to something outside of her niche, it was like the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, it wasn't like...
It's like public school in Utah.
Right. It's like... It's like if all you were ever exposed to was, like, Anglicans.
Yeah.
And then you were exposed to Episcopals. Right? It's, like, not...
Like, not that different, you know?
Like, it's not going to be like, oh, wow, I'm really seeing the world.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think something she talks a lot about, and it starts here, is like polygamy being illegal, really pushes people further away from, like, being able to seek any kind of help if there is something bad going on, because her whole life, she's like, you can't even mention that you have, like, these other moms. You can't mention that your dad, like, has all these kids. You can't talk about your dad. He can't come to your school events. He can't, like, be a part of your life. And if, like, her dad was great, and if he wasn't, though, like, if a kid's being abused, but you're telling them, well, if you report this, your dad's going to get taken away from, and you'll never get to see him again. You'll have to go to jail. Like, that's,
right,
not going to incentivize people to get help if they need it. So it's, I understand the complicated version of that.
I had a lot of feelings during this part of the book because I also related to, like, throwing yourself into hyper-religiosity as a reaction to, like, fear of the outside world, basically. So related to that. I also thought it was interesting. She comes around. So spoiler, later in the book, she admits she was in a cult. But in the first part of the book, she says, if I was in a cult, I loved it.
Yeah. Yes. I wrote that down, a quote. Was I in a cult? If I was, I'm glad of it. Yeah.
It was awesome. Like, she loved it.
Yeah.
And that's the confusing thing about cults.
Yeah.
Or growing up in cultish environments, or even just, like, closed communities, I guess. Like, being surrounded by people all the time who believe in what you believe all the time, and thinking that you have the secret key to heaven and other people don't. Like,
yeah. Well, and I get it too.
Like, I related to it to some level. Yeah.
Yeah. I get to, like, for her, like, okay, I was in a cult, but would I give that up to not have these, like, half siblings that are really important to me? And then as she's older, her sister wife, especially her relationship with Janelle, her other moms, the kids that she then helped raise, like, I understand saying, like, I wouldn't get rid of them, you know? So I completely understand where she's coming from. And I think, yeah, it's like stuff we talk about, like growing up the way we did of like, yeah, like there was negative things, but also like I wouldn't trade that we're friends or so many of the things I've been through in my life. You know what I mean? Like,
and you also, I mean, we were talking about this off the mic,
yeah,
like even like this week, but you can't actually extricate yourself,
yeah,
fully, because the fabric of who you are is made up by the communities you were raised in. Yeah. So you can't even say like, oh, I'm not part of that anymore. It's like,
yeah,
well, it's just a part of you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, sorry, sister, like it's a part of you.
Uh-huh.
Like you always will be connected to that for better or worse.
Yeah.
So,
and I did like her attitude about it, I think.
Yeah.
Her attitude about a lot of stuff of like, I mean, well, again, we're skipping ahead to the end, but towards the very end, she said like, I don't want to make every memory a bad memory. Like,
yeah.
Robin's wedding day was a beautiful memory and it was so happy for me. And, or like these holidays we spent together, or like all these little moments. And just because it ended so badly, that doesn't take away, like those were still really happy times. And I think that's a good way to look at, you know, your life. So
one thing before we move on to the next part is that her mom really served as an example for her, because her mom did not subscribe to a lot of the more rigid parts of their sect. Mm-hmm. Like she was like, I don't know. I don't think this is the only right religion. I think this is the right religion for us. But, you know, we just have to love people.
Yeah.
Or she ultimately was like, one of Christine's Sunday school teachers was like, you're going to hell, or like God is going to come back any minute. Yeah. The world's going to end any minute. And her mom was like, hey, can you maybe chill out on that?
Like, I need her to go to school, you know? Like,
right.
We're going to have to live. Like there's going to be more than just another year here on earth.
And and that's a cult tactic too. It's like, you know, but, her mom, like, ironically, you know, she did a good job. Her ghostwriter did a good job of marrying all this together. Of like, she resented her mom for leaving her dad and leaving the faith.
Yeah.
It made her more hyper religious.
Yeah.
And her mom also like stayed in her life and loved her through her hyper religiosity and her sham marriage and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then Christine actually ended up being her.
Yeah.
And then her mom was still there for her. And I thought that was really beautiful. That was actually
like that
really,
too.
really nice.
Yeah. I really liked the relationship. Her relationship to her mom came up a lot throughout every stage in this. And it was so nice to see like the payoff of that, like you said, like when she ended up leaving Cody, her mom was really there for her and like telling her what she needed to do and supporting her through that because she had been through it. And so I thought that was nice. So, okay. Now Cody,
so she becomes a young woman.
She becomes a young woman.
And she goes to college, actually.
She goes to college.
I think it's like a community college. Like it's like near home.
Yeah.
But she does that. And she's like, I want to get married.
Yes. And I wrote, Cody Brown entered our church like a storm. Like, oh, dun, dun. This to me felt like when Donald Trump showed up in Rodham. It was like, no,
I know.
This guy's here.
I know, like she's like living her life. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a note.
Please tell me.
So she's interested, like, so first of all, she describes she knew Cody and Mary.
Yes.
So she knew Cody independently, then he got married to Mary, and she knew them for a few years before she got married.
Yes.
To Cody, because he ended up marrying Janelle, and then he married her.
Yes.
So she describes that Cody has actually converted to their Apostolic United Brethren Church from mainstream LDS.
Yes.
And this was reminding me back when there was the conclave earlier this year.
Uh-huh.
And everybody on TikTok, like the Catholics, which I'm not part of them, but it was so interesting to see them come out and talk about their issues.
Yeah.
Like, here for you. They were like, there is a difference between cradle Catholic and converted Catholic.
Oh.
Cradle Catholic is a cultural Catholic, maybe more open-minded, whatever.
Sure.
Converted Catholic is like J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Or like Harrison Butker.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay.
Actually.
I think this is similar.
Sure.
Because she was like cradle FLDS.
Yeah.
She was kind of open-minded. She didn't think that her religion was the only religion. Yeah. She was more centered on like love and family and the ideals. And he took this like super hard right turn into fundamentalist Mormonism and was like, Easter's pagan.
Yeah.
We can't celebrate it. We have to do Shabbat.
Yeah. That is a red flag to me. I'm sorry if this is you out there. This was people we went to college with. But if you're celebrating Shabbat as a Christian who was not raised Jewish, I really do think that's a red flag and I think you need to consider what you're doing. Like, I really want you to think about it.
Like the culturally appropriative.
Yeah. It's tough, but that is a thing it's not just Cody. That is a thing. So yeah, but he was intense.
Right. And so she describes,
sorry, continue.
Go ahead.
I thought it was so interesting from here for a good chunk of the book, how like honestly pre-Robin, and we'll get to Robin, how different Cody was, because she talks about him, and even Mary, like she talks about him and Mary as being like the ma and pa. I don't know if she said ma and pa or if I just wrote shorthand, but she talks about them being like the parents, like of the young people, and taking people on wilderness trips, and him being fun and like funny and adventurous and like positive, and how different that is from like the Cody you get at the end. And that like to see her, and I think Christine's perspective in particular is so interesting because she saw him marry 2 women before her, and what she saw of their marriage was so positive that she still felt like, yeah, I want to marry this guy. Like she saw what he was like as a husband, and for that to change so drastically, I mean, this keeps going when they have kids, like for the beginning part of them having kids, we'll talk about that, whatever. But I just thought this was really interesting, this part in particular of them coming into the church and how him and Mary were, and like how everybody just loved them, and how crazy it is how marriages can just like rot and die and be like this bitter thing if you don't, treat them right. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. What were you saying?
I don't even know. You just made a great point though.
Sorry.
She describes how like dating works in polygamy. So
which becomes important later.
Yeah. First wife. It's just like normal.
Yeah. Normal dating marriage.
You just do normal dating marriage. And also she kind of, I don't know. I think from what she described, it seemed like within their faith, it's like, you don't have to be polygamist, but if you do, you'll get to the celestial kingdom. Yeah.
Like it's better to be polygamist.
You'll get extra heaven. Yeah. But it's not like a mandate, but if you do, it will be better.
Yeah.
So the first wife is normal. The second wife, the husband is not supposed to date someone else really because they're married.
Yeah. He's married.
And so the woman has to show her interest via probably like a male family member.
Yeah.
And then the church elders, the leaders, have to bless and like give their permission for them to get to know each other and basically court to get married.
Right.
And so when this comes about with Christine, she had known them for a while. At this point, Cody was married to Mary and Janelle. Janelle, my queen. My queen.
Janelle, whenever you want to write a book, I did not buy this one. I will buy Janelle's book. I will.
Baby girl. I love you.
Please.
Janelle, we love you.
Yeah.
She's by far the best wife.
Oh, yeah. Anyways.
So she does that, and Cody's like, he consents to doing it.
Yeah, so she basically tells her dad, like, I want to date Cody. He's like, cool. They start dating, and she's like, basically nothing changed because she had already been really good friends with Cody and Mary and Janelle, and like spent a lot of time with them anyways, and so like they just kept doing that. And she was really emphatic that she did not want to kiss before marriage.
Everything was extremely chaste.
Yeah, very chaste.
At this point, many listeners have heard of Mormon underwear, but in the FLDS church, there's even more intense Mormon underwear that are like crazy. Very long. Right. So yeah, everything is very whatever.
Yeah. Buttoned up.
It is not like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
No.
So then he like proposes to her kind of, and she's like, well, that wasn't, he was like, hey,
yes,
like,
I guess I should ask you if you'll marry me. And that's what he said. And she's like, up to this point, it was just so sad. Because up to this point, she's like painted herself as someone who like loves fairy tales and like wants to be a princess and romantic. Loves like, she's so romantic, like wants to fall in love. And then he like,
and she loved Cody.
She loved him, but she's like, yeah, I thought the only way to love basically was to like find a friend, and like over time you would just develop this, which obviously again that is something that happens, but they never like ever really got to a place where he really loved her, it felt like. And she said at the time, it's all I thought I needed, but she was expecting something like better She said no girl wants a story like that. Like, he just literally is like, hey, I guess,
So he like reproposes.
Yeah. And it's still
but she doesn't get a ring. She gets she gets a Claudia ring.
Claudia ring, but no diamond.
No diamond. This is important.
Very critical. Very critical.
Very, very critical later.
Okay.
So they get married. She describes they have like a horrible first kiss at their wedding.
Yeah, like
it's
so
awkward.
Yeah.
She described him having a 1,000-yard stare. Mm-hmm. And then we have to talk about the honeymoon.
Yes. I have so many all caps notes in this section. But first I want to say too, something really important about their wedding was she had talked a lot about growing up as like kind of like a middle child with a lot of siblings, becoming very much a mediator in her family, and how that continued. And she was like, this isn't a direct quote probably, obviously, but she said, I was so wrapped up in my piety that I couldn't relax and feel special on the day. I didn't want to take anything away from any other wife. And she's just trying to like make everyone else comfortable. And then she has this like horrible, awkward wedding because of it. So then, yeah, she transitions and says the original draft did not include any information about the wedding night, but her friends like told her, you have to talk about it. And thank you, God, to those friends. Thank you. Because this is I knew.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the wedding was awkward because it feels awkward to kiss somebody in front of their other wives.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy. For the first time. Okay, kissing someone in front of their wives, awkward. Kissing someone from the first time, awkward. Getting married and kissing in front of everyone, awkward. And then you're combining all of those things together. And he's like looking at you like he's not even happy. Like he's not even excited. Like he's just like dead staring at you, not smiling. Like, that's that's a nightmare.
After the wedding, so they have like a secret ceremony that unfortunately her mom couldn't go to because she left the church.
In the church, yeah.
So they have the reception, and then they're getting ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know. I just thought we'd kind of go with it.
I hate this guy. I really hate this guy.
I hate this guy.
Like, he sucks. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that happened. So then they go to some hotel.
Yeah.
And it was bad. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, she was in like a lot of pain for like
she
days.
Also describes he wants her to keep her clothes on.
Yeah. Awful. And I thought this broke my heart much.
It was crushing. It was really crushing.
Because she said like, she's like this like very, at this point, extremely chaste, purity minded, reserved, like hasn't done anything with anyone. And she said like, I trusted him because he has been married to 2 other women, that he would like know what he's doing and he would take care of me. And I thought like that he was experienced enough that he wouldn't hurt me. And then for him to like basically not care at all, like she's like crying and he's like, okay, anyways, like it made me sick because it's like, that's not right. You shouldn't have had to go through that. And it was actually really upsetting to read.
And also, like, again, it's like he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which makes it worse. It's not even like, oh, we're 2 teenagers and we don't know if, like...
Right. Like, we're figuring
this out together.
No,
he has 2 wives.
Yes.
Janelle is pregnant.
Yes.
Okay? At this time. She's great with child.
Concrete proof. Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
It was really messed up, dude. And it made me really sad.
It made me really sad. But I am glad she included this. I think like you got to talk about it. And yeah, Cody sucked more as time went on, but he also sucked from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like he also wasn't great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry. Yes. So then the marriage.
Yeah. So then they're married. So then all of a sudden she enters the family. First of all, they're broke as a joke. Okay. Mm-hmm. They live in Wyoming. His job...
Cody's giving mentally ill father because he repeatedly changes jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like for obvious reasons. Yeah. But they're like constantly moving and he's constantly changing jobs. Yeah.
So his first job is selling educational materials related to the church, which sounds awful.
Sounds crazy. Yeah, and
like
she
door
also
to door.
finds out at this point that basically Mary and Janelle hate each other, and nobody's clued her into this. And now
no one's told her.
They're like, man, this is my thought the whole time reading about all these extra wives. It's, to me, in polygamy, obviously never having lived it myself, it feels like finding a new sister wife is kind of like when you go look at a new house that you could move to and you're like, my life would be so much better if I lived here. Like, I would get up earlier. I would work out every day. You like convince yourself that your life's going to change just because you move. That's what it's like with the sister wives. And they were like basically bringing Christine in because they're like, well, she is a good, you know, peacemaker, and me and Mary hate each other. Like, let's bring her in and like maybe she'll straighten things out for us. And we're not going to tell her that. And we're going to like saddle her with that weight without her consent or knowledge or like fully understanding what she's getting into. That's crazy.
Yeah. And to be clear, Mary has always been the issue.
Yeah.
Mary was the big issue. So she becomes a mediator between them.
Yes.
That sucks. You know what? One thing I respect about Christine is she did not really air out everyone else's business.
No.
She said, okay, Janelle and Mary had problems. If they write a book, they can tell you about what they were.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, I'm not going to spill their tea. And I respected that.
Yeah.
She talked about it, how it impacted her.
Yes. She talked about the walls being thin. So she could hear, again, like things don't get better between her and Cody physically, but she can also, compounding that, she can hear him with his other wives and like realize that, oh, that's not like what we've got going on. And same thing, he would like insist, I wrote this down, that she either wear garments or lingerie when they were doing stuff. Like those are the two options, which is crazy.
And also, he basically required her to give him massages. Every day.
Even talking
that he was
about
with her.
Massages. Yeah.
But every third day, I guess. But refused to ever give her a massage.
It's crazy. And the massage, that's not even a euphemism. Just genuinely, she was
literally
giving him
back massage.
And she was like, hey, could I get one of those? And he's like, well, no.
And like that was the only way he could like get it up, essentially.
Yeah. He's a sicko. Yeah, and she said, I had been so confident when I got married, but that part of my personality started to erode. That first year, I lost myself. That made me really sad. And then,
and Janelle has her baby. She has Logan.
Yeah.
Right? So then there's kids in the family. One thing Christine really loves is being a mom.
Yeah.
And she loves helping to mother the other wives' children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Leon comes along. And then she has her first baby, which is Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
And she describes Cody as being a really good dad in the early days.
Yeah. And really supportive,
and really good at coaching her through birth.
Yeah. And then
like it wasn't all bad.
She talked about too, which made me really sad, her mom, like she didn't want her mom being there for the birth, but then it was like really, really difficult. And so they ended up calling her mom and she's like helping through the phone. And she just talks about like, now I can imagine that was extremely difficult for my mom to like not be there, but then to be on the phone and it's just, I'm so glad they mended their relationship in the end.
Me
but
too.
It was tough because I get it. Anyways, they moved
and money is tight and some of them are doing like part-time jobs and she actually ends up getting a job basically being like a marketing person for her church and like trying to raise awareness. This is where I start getting a little sticky. Okay, I have to admit. Mm-hmm. So she frequently, her job at this time is that she's working with a group that helps to advocate for safe polygamy laws. Yeah. And like draw a really big difference between what is like consenting adults being in polygamy versus child abuse. Yeah. Which I appreciate. Yeah. We can all appreciate. But she commonly refers to this as a civil rights issue and draws comparisons to other social movements at the time. Sure. Read like gay marriage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which I had a little bit of a hard time with because she, in her journey in life, she eventually does become an ally. She becomes very accepting of their queer children and whatever. But at the time, she was leveraging the marriage equality movement to help support her sect of Mormonism to have like basically uphold this like patriarchal subculture. And that was a little tough.
Yeah, I agree. That was like, there's certain things where you're like, I do think this is how I felt reading it. I think this is great. She wrote the book now. I think obviously people want to hear from her now. Like the season's about to air. Like this timing makes a lot of sense. I think maybe 10 years from now, the book would be different because I think she's still Like, there are things it's the same thing with, I felt reading Jill Duggar's book, where I'm like, okay, yeah, you've come a long way, but also there's things that I hope one day you will continue to grow in, but you're not there yet, and you're not seeing this clearly still, or you're not like writing about it in a way that's clear. Because there's a way to say this of like, hey, yeah, we emphatically did not want gay people, but we were using their movement and like their language
she was a
to
hair
try to
shy
advocate for ourselves. Yeah,
she was a hair shy of actually saying that, and I feel like if she had just said that, like, hey, look, I realized
I wasn't always
that
on the right side. Yeah,
this is hypocritical that we were leveraging this marriage equality movement to but we did not support that.
Yeah, but
like,
wasn't quite there. Yeah.
But she didn't do necessarily a lot of like reflection on her own personal choices, I would say, which is one thing that was disappointing about this.
Yeah, I agree. Which, it continues. And what I thought reading this of, she seemed, I don't know if, I think it was around this part in the book, but there's some allegations she kind of glazed over of like, abuse of children in her church or in her like religious group, and that's at the point where her family does end up leaving the church and kind of like being out on their own, which was covered in the show or whatever. And it was like she was still so genuinely surprised, and it's like, no, like, of course that was happening, you know what I mean? Like, you're in a high control closed community where men are in charge, like, of course.
Right, but at the same time, you know, she's in a high control closed community where men are in charge.
Yeah, right.
So like of course she's stuck there.
Right.
But it's so interesting because she describes her work doing the advocacy as one of the first times she's actually exposed to outside points of view.
Yes.
And that was crazy. Like, that was your outside point of view. Like, you were closed.
Yeah.
Like, this was closed.
Yeah.
And I wrote a note because at that point she hadn't called it a cult yet. And so I wrote, it's not a cult, but as soon as you were exposed to the outside ideas, it fell apart. The whole thing fell apart.
Yeah, it's a cult.
Whatever.
Dives, it's a cult. At this point too, also, there's like a 19-year-old girl that they're like low-key courting to be the fourth wife, and then her dad sits Cody down and it says, I don't think
because her dad is the church leader. Yes.
So he's like, yeah, we want to take her in. And he said, I don't think you're caring for the wives you already have.
Because they were so
poor. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I do respect that a little bit.
Yeah,
I do respect that. But also like, hello, can this 19-year-old girl come forward? She's probably still she's probably like a fifth wife out there somewhere, you know?
Yeah, please come forward.
But come forward
on the pod. But okay, so this is a good segue because they're living in Lehi, Utah. They live in like a house. If you guys watched the first season of Sister Wives, you're familiar with the house.
Yes, I can still picture it in my mind.
Oh,
I can picture like Logan making breakfast for all the kids. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
But there was a lot of Mary slander here because it was like she never shamed Mary for having one kid because obviously that was not what Mary wanted, whatever.
Yeah.
But she did draw the obvious like, hey, you had to have the apartment or whatever between me and Janelle's places.
Right.
But you didn't want the kids running through there because you had all these breakables.
Yeah.
And so she was shading Mary quite a bit. And then like Mary always needing like the biggest space.
Right. Yeah. I also like, I think it's Gwendolyn who's since come forward and said Mary was like she's like hasn't said quite abusive, I don't think, but has said like she wasn't kind. And I want to say it, don't quote me on that, but I do think, I know one of the kids has at least come forward and said some things about Mary
again,
as well.
Christine and Janelle Hive stand up.
Yeah.
So
this is, when their relationship falls apart, though. Yeah.
So, like, things are tough. Oh, and then her relationship with Mary falls apart because there's this moment where Mary, like, it was stupid. You can read the book if you want to know exactly what happened. But Mary snaps at one of her kids for, like, not a good
really
reason.
Dumb thing. Yeah.
And then she's like, don't ever talk to my kids again.
Yes.
Don't ever, like, whatever. And then they kind of have this falling out.
Yeah. But again, it's like, okay, well, I never knew that. Like, I knew things were kind of strained in the family, but I mean, this is about the time the show starts, and it's like, oh, I thought they all like kind of got along, you know, but not at all.
And so like, there's some fracturing, whatever. Christine is like overall satisfied with her relationship with Cody. She thinks he's a good dad. She likes living in proximity to her sister wives. She likes raising the kids together.
She likes all the kids being there. Yeah.
She has lots of good memories about Christmases and like working with the other moms to like take care of the kids, homeschooling them.
Yeah. So this is a part too where he does this is the part where she talks about the massages. And he told her, like, basically, I move away from pain and toward pleasure. I'm not smart, but I am honest. And she was like, wait, am I the pain? Because she would be like, well, why aren't we, like, having, like, a physical marriage? Or, like, why aren't you here with me as much? And that's what he told her. So I thought that was horrible. So, yeah. Things are not good. They're fine, but they're, like, she's happy, but her marriage isn't good. And things in the marriage aren't good. Yeah.
And so through her work doing advocacy for their church, that's how she is, like, recognized, and their family's given the opportunity to do a pilot for TLC.
Yes.
This is also a time where they're down bad financially.
Yes.
So it's kind of like this perfect storm, and they see this opportunity as an opportunity to, like, spread the good word about their religion, and also to, like, dispel misconceptions about, like, consenting adult polygamy.
Sure.
And whatever. But it also, they have been living in secret in Utah because at this point, bigamy is a felony. And so this is, like, a big decision because now it's like they're coming out as polygamist on a public stage.
Yeah, and I thought the context of this was really interesting because there's an interview they do in New York. They go to New York for the first time as a family, and that interview, I guess, never aired, but it was this kind of, like, sit down, tell all, you know, talk show style, whatever. And she talks a lot about that experience in New York with, like, people in public, people at restaurants, and then people in the audience, and how people were, like, open-minded and accepting. And I thought, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense why they agreed to do the show, not just for financial reasons, but, like, they have, right before getting the opportunity to pitch to TLC, they have this experience where people are actually really interested and, like, respectful and curious. And at the time also, I think this was, like, a very new wave of having these kind of reality shows. And I don't think there was the, like, reckoning of now, where I do think anyone who signs up to have their kids on a reality show at this point, you have to know that, or puts them as influencer, like, you have to know what you're doing to your children's psyche. But, like, at the time, I think maybe that's fair. They didn't necessarily realize. I wish she had come around to reckoning to it more, but I did think, like, oh, this actually does make a lot of sense why they end up agreeing to do TLC, because I don't know. At first, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. They're so scared of the outside world. Why did they agree to do this? And then, I don't know, this put it into context for me.
I think also part of the context that is, like, implicit or, like, obvious later is that Cody is a narcissist.
Yeah.
And he was the decision maker.
Yes.
So he basically wanted to do it.
That is true.
So Christine was like, oh, because he would also, we forgot to say this, he would also be like, Christine, I would love you if you would be more lovable. Right? So she's trying to be, like, earn his love all the time.
All the time.
And so she's, you know, he wants to do it because he like, and they get their first paycheck from the show, and, like, the kids don't have, like, shoes or coats, but he buys a Lexus convertible.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
whatever.
She can't get enough money for groceries for the kids, but he can buy a convertible.
Right. So.
And then enter dun dun dun
Sobbin' Robin.
Sobbin' Robin.
So Robin is brought into the family, or she's introduced to the family via Mary, which makes so much sense.
Makes so much sense. Yeah.
So Robin, oh God, I can only talk about Robin. Robin had a previous marriage. She had 2 kids. She was in a monogamous. She was raised in polygamy, but she was in a monogamous marriage that failed. She gets brought into family. They're having, like, a brief courtship, and this is all happening in season 1 of Sister Wives. And it's difficult for Christine because it becomes obvious that Cody does not love her, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
In comparison to the way he felt about Robin.
Yeah.
And the boundaries that she felt were crossed during their courtship. And maybe this is a good time to bring up the Claudia ring.
Oh my God. Yes. So basically she had been asking, like, I think, okay, tell me if I misconstrue any of this, but my understanding was, that I remember, is that she had been given the Claudia ring, not necessarily even as an engagement ring. He had just given it to her. And then he was like, yeah, there you go. There's your wedding ring. And so she had been asking him for, like, years, like, can you please put a diamond in my Claudia ring?
Because Mary and Janelle had little tiny diamonds.
Just like a chip. Yeah. She was not asking for anything crazy. Just a little
so
chip
she was like,
diamond.
oh, it'd be nice if I could have one too.
Yeah.
And he was always like, oh, we can't afford it. He did buy the Lexus convertible.
Let me remind you, which definitely cost more than whatever tiny little diamond
it was
he would have bought.
probably like $150.
Yes. Like she was not asking for much. A chip in her ring.
Then he goes and he buys Robin like a full engagement ring.
Like a full diamond ring. A full diamond ring. They're not even married yet. No. Yeah. Oh, he sucks.
It was gutting.
Yes.
And then she gets so angry. She takes the ring and she chucks it into the forest.
I love that. I love her for that.
I know. I mean, same, honestly. I would do the same thing.
Same.
He like kisses Robin before they're married.
Yes.
It's like a whole thing, dude. And then
and also like Robin was the one to pursue, like she was very aggressively pursuing Cody. And something we didn't talk about earlier was there had been even another wife that they almost added. And that woman like was always being very upfront with Cody and not making any like headway with the sister wives. And Christine basically tells that woman off in a spectacular fashion over the phone of like, you thought you should go through him, but you should have gone through us. Don't call him anymore. And so then Robin is like doing the same thing of like, yeah, just not caring at all. And yeah, it's like clear that he's falling in love with her. And that's something they did talk about in the show. I remember that interview, but she has this moment where she like realizes, oh, like you're giddy to go see her and you've never acted like that around me. Like not even a little bit.
And at this point, Christine is greatly pregnant.
Yeah. Which is
it's just not helping.
No.
It's not helping because also like Robin is wearing her special garments, but she's kind of styling stuff in like a cuter way. She's wearing high heels.
She wasn't wearing her garments.
She wasn't.
No, because she wasn't married yet.
Oh, right. You get them when you're married.
Yes.
So she was wearing like cute little
low cut stuff. And I mean,
probably like tighter jeans, but like tight heels, whatever.
Because she could. Also, they did a photo shoot with all the wives. And Cody, the first thing Cody said was to ask Janelle, why aren't you wearing any makeup? I just want you to know that. You listening to this. Mean. Like, not even like, oh, thank you. He sucks. So, yeah.
So there's all that. And then at the same time, he's like skipping out on spending time with his existing families and his children and wives to get to spend time with Robin and her kids. And at first, you know, Christine passes this off as like, well, he's just trying to get to know her. He's trying to earn the kids' trust, all this stuff. But it never gets better.
It never gets better. It gets worse as time goes by. Yeah, it made me really sad. She describes Peyton asking why Robin's kids get KFC all the time. And I'm just like, it seems like such a silly thing. But when you're a little kid, I don't know, like that really matters. Like your little dining out. Like she was like, oh, for our kids, like we didn't eat out ever. So KFC was like a really big treat. And he's like, why do Robin's kids get it all the time? Like they're always going with dad to KFC and we never do. And it's like kids are so perceptive. Like they notice from that, like the impact you've had on your children who, I mean, I don't think he cares. He has genuinely, at this point, no relationship with almost any of the kids that aren't Robin's. But, like, it just made me so sad of, like, they're noticing. She also describes that he wouldn't come to tuck them in at night. When she, like, and then, was when she specifically
asked for help.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you need to ask your sister wives. Or you can ask Aspen, who was, like, 14.
Like, a child. Yeah. Like, she's like, working another job to pay off her debts. Which is like insane that he's like, you know, he doesn't seem bothered that she's doing that for the family. And she's like, can you just tuck them in at night? Like, that's literally all I'm asking you for. And he says no. And at this point, they still all live in the same house. Like, it's not like a track.
And they move Robin to like, you know, a block away or something like that so they can see her. Whatever. It's so dumb.
So dumb.
One thing I do appreciate though is that Christine at this point she never makes this Robin's fault.
No.
She makes it Cody's fault.
And it was, yeah.
I feel like she was really careful not to do like, oh, well, that bitch. Like, you know, no, it was his fault. He should have been living up to his responsibilities and whatever.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. Robin starts getting the blame once she's a part of the family and once she's like the one doing something wrong. But at this point, Cody's still the one married. She's not. And so it is on him anyways. Yeah. And
she has this hope that like, oh, maybe bringing Robin into the family will change things or whatever. She does love the wedding. Robin does a nice thing of like getting a dress that matches the other sister wives' dresses so that they could have a family photo shoot, whatever. But at this point, the direct comparisons between Cody's relationship with Christine and Cody's relationship with Robin are so hard to overlook. So he plans this big elaborate honeymoon with Robin.
11 days. 11 days.
Yeah. He is so excited to see her on the wedding day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's beaming. He's happy. He's always spending time with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after they're married, Christine goes into labor.
Yes.
And Cody leaves the hospital to go get their like doctor's bag or their like hospital bag.
Mm-hmm.
And the cameras catch him going to like say hi to Robin and her kids and give Robin a kiss.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
While she was in labor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to. I mean, that's just like that's the pattern that continues throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they moved to Las Vegas.
They moved to Vegas. That's a whole thing.
Neighborhood where they each have their own house, and that was a whole drama with Mary needing like the
whole house,
whatever. But they all got their own houses, and at this point, it becomes like aggressively apparent because they can see Cody's car in Robin's driveway. Like they all live in the same cul-de-sac, and they can see him there, and like, yeah. And she said, there. My kids have told me that starting in Las Vegas, Cody started to be an absent dad.
Yep.
So sad.
And like, this is when she joins her first MLM.
Yeah.
And then
she calls it a business.
Yeah. I'm part of a, what did she call
a clothing business. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Also, just a note, she gave birth to Truly. He only stayed with her for 2 days. And then he was like, okay, you got it. And then when Robin gives birth to their first child, he stayed 2 weeks before the birth and 2 weeks after, like uninterrupted, didn't go see any other wives. It's like, yeah, it's just a direct comparison. Like
it's a direct comparison.
Okay. Yeah, you don't care about me.
Okay. So then this is something truly devastating.
Mm-hmm.
They publish a book together where they are each interviewed by a writer. The writer compiles their stories independently, and then the book comes out, and it's the first time they're seeing what the other people said.
Which, by the way, terrible idea. Don't do that.
Idea.
If you're
again, we're skating over the TLC of it all, and the producers instigating. Like that was not named, but that was happening.
Yeah.
Basically, in the book, Cody's like, I was disgusted by Christine. I was never attracted to her. There was this incident where she ate chili cheese nachos and it like disgusted him. Then he doubles down in an interview with Savannah Guthrie, I think, on the Today Show. Uh-huh. And he said, he's talking about how he was like, he was never attracted to Christine. And then, that she asked, did that gross you out? Like the chili cheese nachos? And he said that would be an understatement. And he basically said he's never been attracted to her.
Yes. It was said like basically that was the moment he stopped having any attraction to her and it never came back. And he married her anyways. This was before they were married. This was just like,
and she confronted him about it and talked about it. And he said, I felt like I had to marry you because your family was polygamy royalty.
Yes. Which shows the narcissism of Cody.
And the way that she phrases it too is not like how dare you keep me from someone who would love me? Mm-hmm. Like that was the thing you really did wrong. Like, why did you propose to me? Yeah. Why did you get married to me?
Yeah.
Like you stole my life away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because somebody would have loved me. Like, that's stupid. Like she's great. Like, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, there's no... You could have just told her, I'm not attracted to you. I don't like you like that. And they could have just gone on being friends and none of this would have ever happened. And instead, he just dragged her along. And like for years and years and years before Robin like kept giving her hope, like things will get better or whatever. Like if you do this, I'll be attracted to you. And like all of that was just always going to be a lie. Yeah. And at this point, she gets a little too probably intense for me on the like dieting and exercise talk.
Oh, I wrote this too. She shares she's like a whole half chapter or so about like her weight loss journey and gives horrible weight loss advice. Just skip it and don't read it.
Yeah, because to me, I'm like, okay, the end of it, I'm like, I do actually understand what she's trying to say. Like, she didn't take care of herself. And she had lost all her confidence. And then she got to this point where she's like, I want to be strong. I want to like take care of myself better. I didn't need like, hey, did you know that you can cut calories by doing this, this, and this, and this? Like that was like, I don't care, but I do understand what she's trying to say. Maybe
she is currently in an MLM,
yes,
where they sell supplements that help people quote unquote lose weight.
Yes.
So whatever, just like blah 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 blah.
But just know she struggled, I think, a lot with her body image, and continues to struggle, but especially like after this book comes out and she's basically being called fat in like a way that's like derogatory and like, I am no longer attracted to you because of
and
this.
She's still trying to get Cody to love her.
Yeah. So she's like, well, maybe if I lose weight, he will love me. And so that's what you need to know about that part.
And then when she does lose weight, she like basically asks him, like, do you like me better now? Essentially. And he's like, well, I would like you if you would be nice to your sister wives.
Yeah. Which means Robin.
I.e. Robin. Because Robin has this whole vindictive thing where she's like victim complex. Like she thinks everyone hates her, whatever. Yeah. I will not be reading Robin's book if it ever comes out.
Oh, hell no. Don't write a book, Robin. And she always like, Robin, like, she also realizes at this point, like, this is where her narrative about Robin switches because Robin will start confronting her about stuff that Cody, like, she thought was private between her and Cody. So she says, like, hey, she stops giving Cody massages. And Robin's like, hey, well, why aren't you giving Cody massages anymore? And she's like, okay, like, I thought I trusted him. I trusted him as my husband not to, like, go talk to you about this. And I trust you as my sister wife to be like, hey, this isn't appropriate for us to be having this conversation. But you guys both broke my trust. I'm not going to be your friend anymore, basically. Like, we're done.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that sucks.
It did suck. It really, really sucked. And she also observes at this time that Janelle is kind of just vibing and like she has more independence and she's kind of doing her thing and she like starts learning from that. Yeah. Then, well, I was going to go to the Flagstaff move. Is there anything else from Vegas you want to share? Well, like she starts getting exposed to more people from the outside world.
That's all I was going to say. She starts getting exposed to more people. She starts being more, because Cody's spending less time with her, she starts being more independent. And I thought, there's a few things here I really briefly want to say is she really talks about losing her religion. First of all, I did not realize how little she continued. I thought she would say she was like still Mormon and just wasn't part of like, you know, fundamentalists anymore. But she's really like, hey, I think there's a bunch of religions, like whatever. Maybe there's an afterlife, maybe not. But I really liked how she talked about it in a really positive way of like just becoming more open-minded and like for her losing religion was a positive experience, which I don't think it is for everyone. I just thought that was really interesting. And part of that was I really liked how she described Leon, who's Mary's child, coming out. And also Gwen is her child, who came out as bisexual. And she was like, oh, like I'm actually fine with this. Like I didn't know how I would react. And I'm really glad that I'm reacting fine. Like this is great.
Yeah, she even said something really great that I loved. She's like, she said, she said, I'm going to try and say the right thing, but also, can you teach me how to say this so I sound as accepting as I feel?
Yes. I thought that was really so
nice. It's like, that is such a great way to ask that.
Yeah.
Like, this is new to me. I'm trying.
Like,
I love you so much.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I actually don't know. So and it's not from a place I'm not accepting. Help me sound as accepting as I feel on the inside.
I think that's a great phrase.
It's such a wonderful thing for a parent to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really great.
Yeah. So that was really great. Seems like overall, she seems like she has really great relationships with all the kids and like she's a really good mom. And I think
that really comes through. At this point.
Yeah.
So she talks a lot about like teenage parenting and,
and
she had another great thing. We talked about like, she had this rule for herself that at any point, if a kid was like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Yeah. She would immediately stop everything she was doing, turn the stove off, whatever, and be like, okay, yeah, let's talk. And she would get eye level with them, no matter how tall they were. Yeah. She was like, I don't ever want to be inaccessible to my kids.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I loved that. I know. One thing I do want to talk about, though, critically, before they move out of Las Vegas, is truly going into kidney failure. What happens here is Truly is her youngest child. She gets really sick. And while she's away, what was she? On an MLM
She was on
trip?
an MLM cruise with Mary.
With Mary, which is a whole other...
I think it was
I
a
don't even want to talk about
cruise.
that. Yeah. So
she was in LuLaRoe.
Yeah. So they go on this cruise and Truly's really sick and Aspen's calling her like, hey, she has this like fever. She's not getting better. And she's like on a cruise. So like she can't come back. You know, like it's not like
Aspen is basically watching her by herself.
Oh, she's the mother. So, like I would love to read Aspen's book as well. All of the kids actually, pretty much. Any of you guys can write a book and I'll read it. Anyways, she's like, Cody, can you please go over there? Because like, I'm not home and Truly's really sick and she's been sick for days. Like, can you just go over there? And like, it is not right that I don't care how old you are. If you're a minor child, you should not be in the position where you're responsible in a serious health situation for your sibling. Like, that is crazy. When your other parent is right down the road, like right there. And he's like, no, like my other kids need me, basically. And then when she gets home,
I need to tuck Robin's kids into bed.
Yeah. So when she gets home, Truly is like not doing well, takes her to the doctor. She's in kidney failure. The doctors are basically like, she is like an old person on their deathbed with her kidney function right now. She ends up having to have a surgery. Like, they think she might have to do dialysis, all this stuff. And Cody's like not present for any of it. And this is like, how do you keep going? Like, how do you keep going with someone who not only has such disdain for you, but for your like very young small child? This made me really sick. So anyways, that happens. And she also talks about her oxy addiction.
Oh, yeah. And then she gets hooked on oxy, which I'm like,
what?
I mean, honestly, it makes sense. And she was really transparent about the slippery slope that is falling into opiate addiction. And then her way she managed it and got out of it. And
sorry. Also really fast before they move. Sorry. She, just a note, McKelty and Tony. McKelty's her daughter and she marries this guy, Tony. And she's like projecting a little. She's like, cause it happens pretty fast. Like, they're young and they get married really fast. And she's like, are you doing the same thing that I'm doing with your dad? Like, am I setting a bad example for you? And then they play this couples game and she's like, wait, McKelty and Tony know more about each other than I know about Cody after like decades of marriage, or like any of these couples. Like, they'll be all fine. And I thought that was really interesting of her being like, okay, I realize now that I'm in a bad situation, but also that this isn't the same thing, you know?
It's all starting to come together for her.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first crack.
Yes.
And then, she starts losing her faith, whatever.
Yeah.
So then Cody comes to the sister wives and is like, I have this great idea. Well, no, he says, the Raiders are moving from Oakland to Las Vegas.
Which is crazy.
And this is going to be what's going to turn into a den of iniquity. The crime, the traffic. And he starts freaking out. And it's like, babes, you live in
Las Vegas. Like,
Sin City.
Yeah.
Classically. And so he's like, we need to move.
If you've never watched the show, though, please go watch the episodes where they leave Las Vegas, honest to God, or watch clips, because he is like bringing a manic energy. Like, he's
like running around.
He's going to Kinko's and printing up like boards with graphs on it.
Like Kinko's, literally.
You have to watch this.
And then they're all like in Mary's living room or whatever, and they're like talking about, and he's like, we should move to Flagstaff. There's this property. So the sister wives humor him.
Oh my God.
They go down and they actually fall in love with the property. And Janelle really loves it.
Pass.
Christine is like, motherfucking Coyote Pass, man.
Is that like a sleeper cell when you say that?
Then Christine is like, okay, maybe our lives would be better. It'd be more like when we were in Wyoming.
Yeah. We'll have our own space.
Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. They consent to doing it.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm like, I do actually get it. because like, she's like, yeah, I love being around all the kids, but also I don't want to keep facing Robin's driveway every day. So like, this is an ideal situation. We're going to build our own houses. It is a beautiful piece of land. Like we'll have our own space. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Then it comes out.
That Robin's oldest child has gotten into University of Arizona in Flagstaff or something like that. And will be enrolling in school. And that was secretly the reason for the move all along.
Yeah.
Mind you, several of the other children are currently enrolled in college in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Or live with live with their spouses or live independently in Vegas. And they are uprooting the whole family. And that was like veiled. Like, it was basically, that sort of starts being a betrayal, because she's like, oh, so you guys planned this behind our backs.
Yeah, you had this whole plan. Yeah. And manipulated the rest of us to going along with it.
And also, like, why do y'all need to be in the same place? I just don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah. And she almost, this is where I'm like, no. like, you know, Interstellar. Because it's like don't go, because her and Janelle almost stay. Like they have this conversation where they're like, maybe we don't go, but they're like, no, the Coyote Pass thing is cool, and like we could all be together, and like maybe things will get, like, he's always dangling that in front of all of them. You see this in the show. I mean, Mary has her flaws, but you do see it in the show with Mary. Every time she gets even remotely close to like leaving or doing anything, he like dangles in front of her, like, maybe we'll do IVF when they were younger. Like, we'll do IVF so you can have another kid. Or like, if you do this, I'll come back and I'll move back in. And like,
oh yeah, this is part of their reconciliation.
Yeah. And it's like, no, he's never going to do those things. He's never going to do it. But
literally, it becomes more and more clear. He only sees his obligation to them as like, I need to get into the celestial kingdom. Like, he's still like ruled by his religion and his belief that like he can't leave these women or he won't go to heaven. But he does not love them.
No.
So they move to Flagstaff. Predictably, things don't get better.
It's also like a horrible situation. She doesn't talk enough about this, I don't think.
It's a show trying to build their houses. They can't sell
the houses. Yeah, like they are in this like massive amount of debt. The money, it's horrible. Yeah.
Whatever. Like, read the book if you want to know all the details of this. Yeah. One of the big things, though, that happens in Flagstaff, well, two big things. One, COVID. And Cody has decided he's basically living with Robin now. And he comes up with all these insane rules about COVID and like, but he's also afraid of the vaccine.
Yeah.
And then they have a nanny, which I don't know why they have two full-time parents at home and a nanny. It doesn't make sense to me.
So he can't go visit his kids because they won't quit their jobs, which are requiring them to come back in person after, like, this is months. This is not like,
this is post-vaccine.
March 2020. Yeah, this is post-vaccine. They have to go back to work. They need jobs. Like, they have to go to school. And so he can't go see his kids because of that. But he has a nanny who comes to their house every single day, and she doesn't have to follow any of these rules. And she ends up being the one that ends up giving COVID to the whole family. And it's like, you were just making this up because you like, during lockdown realized, I actually don't want to see any of my other kids or wives, and I'm just going to make up as many insane rules as I can so they never can come over here.
He begins obsessing about COVID.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Christine's daughter, Isabel, which, by the way, one thing I have to say about Christine, she needs to learn how to use the letter I and E.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of her children have
dumbass. All of her children have weird names. Yeah.
Names with Y's that don't need to be there. Isabel starts with a Y, if you're wondering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, Isabel has a horrible scoliosis. Yeah. She needs a surgery so bad. They're trying to get her the special surgery in the East Coast.
She's in like constant chronic pain.
Debilitating pain. Christine says, we're going to go stay with my sister on the East Coast and quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right. They're required to do that for surgery or whatever.
Yes. We're going, whatever. We need you there. And he won't go. And Isabel is like, wow, really? And then in her surgery, she wakes up. Cody didn't come. And she's like, where's my daddy?
That's the first thing she said. Yeah. And then she calls him and she's like, will you sing for me, Dad? And he says, I don't feel like it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That made me so sad because it's like he is described for a lot of the time as being like a good father and having really good relationships with the kids, and like being fun and like playing with them. And so, like that is so jarring as a child to then be like, now you don't even care about me because of these other kids. You do care about these other kids, and how like unfair that is, how it's ruined the sibling relationships. Like Robin's kids don't have any relationship with their siblings, and like it just really was heartbreaking. This story about Isabel, like I knew about him not going to the surgery that was covered in the show, but her waking up and asking for Dad, like that was so sad.
And this is the nail in the coffin for Christine, where she just decides, you know what, we're done. And she doesn't actually have to get a divorce because she's legally married, free. And she doesn't believe in the faith anymore.
Yeah.
So basically, this begins a year of her slowly extricating herself from him. Obviously, divorce causes a lot of issues. She's the first wife to leave, but since then, Janelle and Mary have also left him.
Yeah.
And
I thought this was so interesting. Too, at this time where she decides to basically leave. She says her two strongest testimonies she's ever... Okay, so they basically call like a God feeling or like a feeling of something from God, they call that a testimony. And so she has this like testimony that she said was her second strongest testimony when she feels like Robin should join the family. And then she says she has like another feeling of like, I have to leave him. And then she said like, maybe God was sending the same message both times. Like maybe he was telling me that Robin was Cody's wife and also that I needed to leave him. And like, I just thought that was like very generous, but also like, yeah, maybe he was.
Maybe it was.
I'm glad but for again, all this at the end.
So much sympathy for her because what was she going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, what was she going to do? Their finances are all tangled up together. Like, and at this point she does call her mom and her mom says like, you already know what it is you need to do. Like you have it within yourself. You just need to start doing like put your both feet on the ground and just do it. Yeah. And I'm like that. Yeah.
And at this point, Isabel is a teenager. She's the last kid in not Isabel. Truly.
She's like 12 or something.
Yeah, she's the last teenager in the house. So it's more simple. She ends up moving to Utah. She's still coming back and forth to finish the thing. It's just like a whole thing to finish the show.
Yeah.
Then she starts dating again. And her talking about dating was so like honestly kind of relatable again. Yeah. Like she was like, she's never dated ever.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And one thing I really thought was sweet and that I related to her was that her husband now, David, grew up in the same culture or around the same culture. Both of his sisters were polygamists.
Yeah.
And they left their husbands and they're not monogamous. And she doesn't have to explain anything to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just so nice.
I thought that was really nice because she talks a lot about like, she worked with a matchmaker for a while, unsuccessful. And she's like, I don't want to like go back to lying. But also it's a lot to get into on the first date that I have like 8 kids. Like I'm formally polygamous and have this TV show and like all this stuff. And so then when she meets David, it's like he was, I think, at the same wedding she was at when she was like 14. And like he knew her grandpa and, you know, like her grandpa is the one who taught his dad how to deliver him when he was a baby. And like he knows all this stuff already. And so she felt like safe with him and they were able to develop this relationship. And it was really nice. I really liked that.
And he's like totally helping her heal. And she joined another MLM, but whatever.
Yeah. It's like, and she's in Utah, to be fair.
Then she talks about, you know, finishing the show, having to go back and be around Cody and all this stuff. And, you know, her relationship with Janelle.
Wouldn't see truly. Yeah. Yeah.
Her and Janelle are really good friends.
Shout out Janelle. Please write your book, Janelle.
Janelle was like in her wedding.
Yeah.
Which is really sweet. And Janelle, I'm like, girl, I hope you find happiness. Janelle owns a wildflower farm.
Yeah.
Now, farm, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
But she then also talks about which I feel like the way the book went, it's like she wrote the book and then she had the tragedy in her family of Janelle's son taking his life. And so she talked about that and dealing with that grief, and especially with a family that's kind of like disjointed and far apart now. So that was kind of one of the last chapters at the very end. Which was tough to read. And then she kind of reflects on things and like what all of this has taught her. And it seems like she has a really good point of view about like, you know, I love my life now.
I would do it, all of it again. Thank goodness that I don't have to. I thought that like sums up this book of like, like you see, whoever her ghostwriter is did a great job of showing like the journey and how it took all of these things, because she was, I mean, it's almost like she's coming back to the version of her you meet as a child. Like before she even, because she talks about going to public school and now she develops this lisp because she can't talk about her family and like how scared she is of the world. And then Cody like degrades her down even more. But then by the end, like with David and with her independence and her like healing journey, writing the book, you know, being free, she's like able to come back to that very, very early childhood version of herself that was happy and like romantic and confident and wanted to just like be loved. Yeah. So,
and she also, she talks about, which I thought was like so honest, I've never lived full time with a man before.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like, that's a great point. I never thought about that.
So she's like, it's kind of weird. Like, he's here all the time. You know? And she was married for 3 decades or whatever. So yeah. Overall, happy about it. I hope Janelle writes a book, and I hope that she can be more honest about Well, first of all, I would love to know what life was like when she first came into the family as the first sister wife.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that from Janelle. And I would also, if possible, like to hear more about the TLC tea, because TLC
let's get to that.
Stays doing crazy stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts about the book?
No, I think it was good. I think if you are going to read it, I really recommend the audiobook. I thought she does a really good job narrating it. It's nice to hear things in her voice, and so yeah, I would recommend. And it's not too long. Like, no, it's like an 8-hour audiobook. And so if you're listening it as I was at like 1.5 times speed, it's really not that bad. So yeah, I think it's worth reading. And is it worth tuning into the show? No. Watch the clips on TikTok like I do. Although I might watch the last season, just for the memes.
Do you think they're going to bring in a new wife?
No. I don't think Robin has any real interest in that. Yeah.
I think, I don't know if she really does, but she always says, like, I signed up to live polygamy.
I think that's fake. Yeah. I don't think she means that. Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, I want to shout out to Christine, maybe you're a listener, because she loves to read trashy Scottish romance novels.
Oh, I know. I feel
And I want to shout out to her for that because, like, respect.
Shout out for being so real about that.
Yeah. Like, that's not my personal brand of romance, but I do
Honestly,
get it.
Christine, you would probably love the show.
You probably would, and you're welcome on anytime. I always like Christine, and I do specifically remember the episode when Leon came out to the family, how Christine was the one who really set the tone for how everyone else was reacting. And I think
Christine she was like the most welcoming one.
She was like, actually, okay, well,
Mary was like,
she had a hard time. Yeah.
And so was Robin.
Yeah. Well, I just remember I always liked Christine. I always liked Janelle, obviously, but that episode in particular always stands out to me as like, you could see like she reacted so instantly and so positively that everyone else kind of had to fall in line, and I respected that.
She loves her kids. That is so clear.
Yeah, she
loves her kids so much. Yeah. And, I don't know how great the decision was to continue. What choices she had, I think my one judgment of her is that, why did you keep exposing your kids to this? But
yeah, like as much as you tried to protect
she
them,
loves them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, have you read any books recently?
I read this one. We only recorded like not that long ago.
I know.
I'm like 90% finished with the other book I want to talk to you about, but I really want to finish it all the way first.
Okay, that's fair.
So
great. Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, I did read a book. It's another Friedrich Bachmann. I won't go on and on because we've already been recording for a while.
Oh, what's it called?
It's called Beartown.
Yeah.
And I put this one on hold actually first before I read Anxious People. That one just happened to be at my library. But because I'm like in withdrawals, I want to get Kindle Unlimited so bad so I can read hockey romances again. And they don't have those at the freaking library. Like, I need Allie Hazelwood to write one so they can come into the mainstream. Anyways, this is neither here nor there.
I guess they don't sell them or have them.
They just don't have a lot of options. There's like one or two that I'm not interested in reading. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, anyways, this one is not a romance, but it is about hockey. So I was like, well, if I'm going to read Friedrich Bachmann, I'll start with this one. It is the first book in a series, which I also didn't realize till after I finished it. So if you read it, just know that. Because there were some things I was like, oh, I want to know more about that. But I have to keep reading the series. Anyways, it's about Beartown, which is this hockey town in the middle of the woods. It's a small town, like underdogs. And they are on their, like, for the first time in decades, they're like, teenager team. It's like junior league, or I don't know what they call these levels. Their like junior team is like really, really good. They have the star player and they are like probably going to win the playoffs, but it's the playoffs, And so, they're building up to this moment, and it's about the whole town. Like, there's the general manager, and he's like a former hockey star, and he came back to his town after playing in the NHL, and now he's back, and him and his family, his kids. And then there's like the star of the team, and then there's what might be my favorite character of the year, which is Benji. He has like a single mom. His dad took his own life. He has these older sisters, and he's like the enforcer on the team. He's like protecting the star. Like, the whole book's kind of like about these two opposing views of how to be a great hockey player, how to be a great team. Like, there's some people in the book that want to support the star and they think talent is what's going to take you there. And then there's some people who want to support more of like the Benji character. and that like heart is what's going to take you there. And like, because Benji has like so much heart. And something happens and it divides the town just before the like playoff game, and it has these like rippling out effects. People take sides. It's not a great situation.
Small town drama.
It's very small town drama. And ultimately, yeah, it's about like, I think it's about what I said earlier, but also about like culture. And there's this thing that keeps coming up of like culture isn't like your mission statement or your values. It's actually what you allow to happen. And if you allow certain things to happen or to be said and you don't stop them, like jokes that you allow being made and like, you know, things that are said in the locker room, like that is actually your culture and what you're permitting, and how that can affect not just the team, but the entire town. And I thought it was really good. And I really am desperate to keep reading the series. So read it. But please check, I think all of his books, check the content warnings because it's kind of tough at some parts. So if there's anything you feel like you might be uncomfortable reading, I would check those. But otherwise, go into it. So, and let me know what you think of Benji, who I'm going to be thinking about for a long time.
And you get to keep reading about him.
You get to keep, I can't wait. I hope he can find happiness in his life. He did not in this book. So I would love for him to be happy in the next one. Yeah.
Okay, last parting thought before we go. I don't think we're going to be recording another episode
That's so true.
After September 11th.
Oh, you're so true. We'll be on Instagram. Trust. We'll be out there. Is this episode going to come out before 9/11? 9/11. I was like, hold on, let me look at my calendar. I think this episode might come out after 9/11, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, so I just want to say, there could be some news about
what? If those news comes out, I will come back and I will record an update.
Yeah, we can come record an update for sure.
If you hear me from the future immediately cut after this, you'll know that there was news. But you'll already know. Go follow us on Instagram or Blue Sky at Redirect Podcast, and we will put our live reactions out there.
I promise you. Because there's got to be something.
That's so true. We can't wait for that. Coming. And our next episode will be recapping Awake by Jen Hatmaker. So if you want to read along, go ahead and read that before September 23rd, I think. No, sometime at the end of September. That's when the book comes out. We'll be talking about it.
And by the way, if you haven't been listening to our last few episodes before this one, we're talking about a Twilight release.
You're like, hey, something big's gonna happen.
Hey, no one's doing a tea attack.
We're not doing anything.
Okay.
We're talking about Renesmee.
I
mean, Stephenie Meyer's going to attack us in a way.
Okay, if you haven't listened to us, that's what we're talking about. Everyone relax. Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.